Peace, deep minds. 255 here. In Final Fantasy VII, the sign Loveless appears. I've often wondered as a gamer why they put that sign in the game. In today's video, I will be discussing some reasons why I think this sign Loveless appears in the video. Final Fantasy VII is filled with loveless situations. Tifa loves Cloud, but Cloud doesn't love Tifa. Cloud loves Ares, but Sephiroth kills her. Ares loves Zack, but Shinra kills him. Vincent loves Lucretia, but Lucretia gets pregnant by Professor Gast. And Sephiroth is loveless in that he believes that since he was infused with Genova cells, he now believes that Genova is his mother, but she's no longer here, thus leaving him loveless. When Cloud and Sid are riding the Highwind, Sid says to Cloud, "Have you ever seen the play Loveless?" And if Cloud answers yes, Sid then gives Cloud a description of what happens at the end of Loveless. Sid then says, when the sister of the lead asks her lover, "Do you really have to leave?" And the guy says, "I made a promise. The people I love are waiting." "I don't understand. Not at all. But take care of yourself. Of course I'll come back to you. Even if you don't promise to wait, I'll return knowing you'll be here." Here is the live stream, because when people die on Gaia, they bring their memories and emotions back to the planet. So that's the second interpretation. Our next interpretation of Loveless comes from Sephiroth himself. He said, "This planet originally belonged to the Cetra. Cetra was an itinerant race. They would migrate in, settle the planet, then move on. At the end of their hard, long journey, it was said they would find the promised land and supreme happiness. But those who disliked journeying appeared. They stopped their migrations, built shelters, and elected to lead an easier life. They took that which the Cetra and the planet had made without giving back one whit in return." Sephiroth telling Cloud, "Those are your ancestors. Long ago, disaster struck the planet. Your ancestors escaped. They survived because they hid. The planet was saved by sacrificing the Cetra. After that, your ancestors continued to multiply. Now all that's left of the Cetra is in these reports." Could Loveless be the story of maybe a couple of Cetra prior to Genova coming and infecting and nearly wiping them out? Could Loveless be the story of maybe one Cetra couple or representation of a Cetra couples that long had to separate to go fight the crisis that struck the planet, but promising that even if they died, they would all return again via the live stream? Or could the fourth interpretation of Loveless just be about Sephiroth and the madness he descends into? He tells Cloud, "Your ancestors," but Sephiroth's mother was Lucretia. Lucretia is a human. Sephiroth was infused with Genova cells. He wasn't naturally a descendant of Genova. Sephiroth also seems to identify with the Cetra. Could Loveless also just be in general, not looking at the lines but looking at it overall? Could the confusion of Loveless just be another story about the insanity that Sephiroth goes into? Sephiroth is at once a human. He's of Genova. He's mad at humans because they didn't help fight the planet, but he calls Genova his mother. So he identifies with the Cetra, but calls his mother the person who destroyed them while being mad at the humans. That sounds pretty Loveless to me. Or maybe Loveless is an interpretation of the last conversation that Ares has with Cloud here before she dies, as she heads to the city of the ancients. And I also realized that Loveless is a album, and that one of the co-creators of Final Fantasy VII Remake mentioned that Loveless plays an important part in Cloud and Aerie's life. I'm also aware of Crisis Core and the poem that Genesis quotes concerning Loveless. We might discuss all of that in another video, but I wanted to just keep it in the original Final Fantasy VII. Or could Loveless just be a welcome sign to lots of loveless gamers who maybe didn't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend at the time, but found some love and found some at home feeling in the virtual world of Final Fantasy VII? This is Deep Mind 255. I really don't know. It's up to you to decide, but these are just a few interpretations.